Good morning, church. My name is Jennifer Trantham, and I serve on the board to represent you. And I'm going to do the announcements this morning. So we don't have many, and I'm going to spare you reading them, except one. The 70 years of leadership and vision. I'm going to read this because I thought it was so nicely written, there was no way I was going to paraphrase it today. Today, we celebrate 70 years of existence of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces. On May 13th, 1955, 14 people signed the charter creating the Unitarian Fellowship of Las Cruces. Over the years, many people, both lay and professional, have led the congregation from fellowship to church, from Unitarian to Unitarian Universalist, from single minister rather, right, one person, to multi-staff church. Our gratitude goes to all those who have assumed leadership to guide us to the present moment. Today we stand on the threshold of a new UUCLC, guided by new leadership and new vision, and upheld by those who came before. We honor 22 people who have stayed the course as members over the 25 to 60 years. We are blessed by their presence among us. Little side note, personal. My father was the first Unitarian Universalist minister to serve full-time here at this church, so that was my honored legacy. Thank you. He was also the one who did the stained glass. The NAACP Juneteenth banquet is being held at Las Cruces Convention Center. If you would like to come, there's more information on the back. See Jan Thompson if you would like to sit with other UUs. And what else I want to tell you? There's Change for Change this month is going to the Mesilla Valley Community of Hope. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and I look forward to today's service.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, it is one of those mornings. This morning we celebrate the leadership of the Unitarian Universalist Church. And to remind us of that, we begin with our gathering song, which is number 1003, Where Do We Come From? Would you please arise in body or spirit?
Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? To what
Good morning. I'm Charlie Scholes, your service associate for today. I'm not Julie Woody. Julie Woody is under the weather, I'm sorry to say. Her doctor told her she'd be well in 2 or 3 days, and this morning she called and said, "I can hardly speak." So we decided to give her a day off. And so I'm filling in. If I sound like Julie Woody, I can't do that. But I will be using her words on several occasions. Anyway, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces. We welcome those of you who are in the sanctuary and also those of you who are watching on streaming technology. I'm Charlie Scholes, your service associate today. Our service leader is the Reverend Nancy Anderson, our minister emeriti. And our director of music, whom you've already seen, is Eric Ramirez, and he's joined by the wonderful UUCLC choir, of whom I am a part. Our director of religious education is Kelly Ingram. You'll see her in a few minutes. Assisting us today are Elwyn Nunn on camera, or videography, as they say. Allison Claire Neal Wallace is our audio engineer. I saw that, Mike. And Mike is in charge of streaming technology as well as producing the slides for today's service. The table was created by Diane Lee and Jillian Lang, and our greeters today are Jack Welch, Gail Trantham, and Diane Lee. Hospitality is offered by the Committee on Ministry and the Community, the Right Relations Committee, I think. Okay, there we go. We're all delighted to see you here. If you're visiting today, we'd like to meet you. If you're in the sanctuary, please rise in body or spirit and wait until I bring you the microphone, and then tell us your name and where you're from. Any visitors this morning? Okay. Am I on? Very good. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. I'm Lane Dendy, and I'm from San Antonio, Texas. I'm visiting this gentleman beside me, Michael. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Nice to see you. Someone else. I guess we all know who we are today, don't we? Wonderful. Okay. Yes. You're pointing to someone. You're waving to your husband in the choir. Well, that's what I thought too. Okay. I sometimes wave to my wife. We do have a visitor. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Some people hide out, you know. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Trejo. I'm here with my wife, Brittany. We're just visiting.
Welcome. Thank you. Okay. If you're a shy visitor, you can go ahead and fill out a visitor's card, and that'll give you information about our services and events. Technology identified as visitor. No, okay. Unitarian Universalism has no creed or dogma. We are a covenant-based church, meaning that we agree to live in relationship with each other according to the Unitarian Universalist principles and values of our congregation's covenant of respectful relations. We believe in freedom of religion, which I understand is a concept actually under attack these days. We embrace diversity in all its forms, where everyone is welcome here. You can learn more about our church at our website, uuchurchlc.org, or talk to one of us in the foyer after the service. And please join us after the service for coffee and conversation inside or outside the religious education building, which is right down the road. Here's our minister, Reverend Anderson.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's such a pleasure to be here with you this morning and look at all your wonderful, lovely, shining faces. I want you to take a look at who's around you today. Who's there Is it somebody brand new you've never met before? Say hello. It's somebody you've known for years and years. Say hi. Welcome. Is it one of those people who has been here forever? Look at them and say, thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome back. Our opening words this morning are by Patrick Murphin. We gather as leaders, as servants. We gather as ears, as voices. We gather as memory, as hope. We gather as family, as pilgrims. We gather as faithful, as skeptics. We gather as object, as subject. We gather as wisdom, as folly. We gather as action and reflection. We gather as many, as one. As we are, we shall be. As we serve, so shall we lead. So be it.
Our chalice lighting this morning, the words are from, I can't find the citation here. Okay, I copied this morning, that's the reason. Here we go. In the flame of this chalice, we see the light of faith, the glow of hope, the warmth of service. May we grow in faith, hope, and service as we kindle our own lights from this spark. Would you please rise and bow to your spirit as you're able to recite our covenant and then sing the doxology in both Spanish and English. Love is the doctrine of this church. Our quest of truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to fulfill others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Good morning, church. Few astronomers have seen the sky in such detail. Clyde Tombaugh liked to say, "I have really had a tour of the heavens." Clyde had finished his farm chores. Now he was free to spend the rest of the evening doing his favorite thing, stargazing. He got out his telescope and he looked up into the night sky. While he looked at the moon and the stars, he wondered about the universe. Does any other planet have life? Are there aliens out there somewhere? If they are they friendly or are they dangerous? How do we communicate with them? What are they like? Will anyone ever be able to travel in space? What would it be like to walk on the moon? Why does Mars look reddish? Why do planets circle around the sun? Clyde was not only filled with curiosity, he was filled with questions. The telescope he had wasn't strong enough to get him his answers. He wanted to see more. He wanted to see things more clearly. So he decided to build his own telescope. He searched his parents' farm for old pieces of machinery that he could use. He painstakingly ground mirrors for their reflective powers. His father let him have old pieces of his car. With these materials, Clyde made himself a powerful telescope. Now he could see so much detail when he watched the planets. He drew pictures of what he saw, but he still wanted to know more. So he sent his drawings of Jupiter and Mars to some astronomers. He hoped they would give him some more information. Instead, they were so impressed with his pictures that even though Clyde had not gone to college yet, they offered him a job. There were other scientists who were sure that there was another planet farther away from Earth than Neptune. But so far, no one had been able to find it. So Clyde went to New Mexico, where he started searching and seeking. He spent every night in an unheated observatory, looking through the telescope, trying to get a glimpse of another planet. When he was 24 years old, Clyde took a photograph of the night sky that showed a strange shifting of light. He had found Planet X. The new planet was named Pluto for the Roman god of the underworld. All his life, Clyde loved learning about the universe. He thought exploring and learning were so important that he became an astronomy teacher. He helped other people investigate the sky. In fact, he loved learning and helping others so much that he and his wife, along with friends and students from the renowned NMSU astronomy program, helped to found the Unitarian Universalist Church where they lived in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Clyde's wife, Patsy, was the only living charter member still at UUCLC when Clyde passed away in 1997 at age 90. She said that her husband was known for his puns, like when the clock at the back of the church stopped working one Sunday morning and he quipped, "I'm so sorry that clock had such an untimely death." But what Clyde really knew was that a congregation, much like an observatory, could be a very good place to keep asking important questions and to keep seeking truth. Thank you.
One of the ways we support each other in community is through the sharing of joys and sorrows and milestones. In these challenging times, it's crucial that we make attempts to stay connected. And if you have a joy, a sorrow, or a milestone that you'd like to share with the congregation this morning, please raise your hand and I'll bring the mic to you and tell us your name and what's in your heart. Just remember, this is not a time for announcements or politics. And I see some hands already, but I want to share a joy with you real quickly. My joy is that I actually heard Clyde Tombaugh speak. And is this on now? Okay. I heard him speak in 1990 at the University of Northern Iowa where I was teaching. And a friend of mine said, do you know Clyde Tombaugh is going to speak tonight in the Science Auditorium? And I said, Clyde Tombaugh, who discovered Pluto? Wow, I thought he was dead. You know. Well, the reason is, I ranked him up there with Galileo and Copernicus and Einstein, who by that time had passed away. I mean, this was a famous guy, right? And so we all sat there in the Science Auditorium, and this little man came out on the stage, little kind of down-home Kansas boy, and began talking about astronomy. Oh, it was amazing. It really was. So that's my joy for today. It's kind of like shaking the hand of somebody who shook the hand of somebody who was very famous, It's or 6 degrees of separation, whatever you call it. Okay, I saw some hands in the air there. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, I am Cindy Curry, and I have a joy. A couple of weeks ago, my husband was in rehab, and I had packed a suitcase for him, with his phone and clothes and, just whatever you need. And the suitcase had rollers on it, so he could roll it back and forth. So I put it in the hatchback of my car, and I forgot to make sure it was latched. So I pulled out of the driveway and made a left turn, and at that time, the suitcase obviously rolled right out of the car. So I waited and waited, and I turned around and went to look for it, and all those kinds of things. So I just said, well, that's it. Everything can be replaced. It's not like it's life or death or something. So the next evening, I had this really nice gentleman knock on the door and said, does this suitcase belong to you? And I said, yes. How in the world? He says, I found the phone, and I called one of the persons the only one I could reach. Well, it just happened to be the person that showers my husband every week. So she called me, and she says, that's on its way, it's on its way. And I opened the door, and there the suitcase was with every single thing in it. It was just absolutely wonderful. So that is my joy. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I'm Vijay Bala. I'm not this old, quite old to have the youngest grandchild graduate from high school and 4 of them in colleges, and it's a pride to be a grandparent.
Wonderful. I saw another hand here.
Good morning, Michael Langford, and I recently moved here, as some of you may know, but the town that I moved from, I wanted to let you know that after 6.5 years of sweat and tears, today they're having a groundbreaking for a new community center. Well, actually, not a new community center, the only community center that we've ever created in Hamilton, Texas. And I'm sorry I can't be there, but I can't be everywhere at once. So I choose to be here. But I just wanted to share that joy with you. After 6.5 years of tribulation and trials, we finally got a community center going.
Great, thank you. Yes, I see a hand on the other side. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Sylvie Peel. This is a very small incident, but I still remember it. It has to do with Gail Trantham, and it must have been at least 25, maybe 30 years ago. I walked in on Sunday morning. As usual, Gail said, "Good morning, how are you?" And I said, "Fine." And she reached over and did a little tug like so and said, "We don't want our bra straps to show, do we?" And it was so sweet. It was so motherly. I have remembered it ever since. So thank you, Gail.
I've never had that problem, so I guess I can't relate to that, but there you are. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Peggy Devlin, and Elwyn and I attended a graduation this week at the detention center for young men here in town. It was probably one of the most meaningful and lovely graduations I have ever attended. 15 young men graduated from high school, and each of them said a little quote, and some of them were very almost tear-jerking. Several said, "I never would have graduated had I not come here to the detention center." So it was and we had 4 from our cooking class that graduated.
Wonderful. Thank you. Someone else. Huh? Yes.
Hi. I'm old because I'm over 85. But I wanted to tell you that my granddaughter will be graduating on this coming Saturday from the University of Washington. She made a perfect score on the ACT, and she has a photographic memory, and her name is Elizabeth Daves.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Yes, sir.
Let me get up here if I can. Getting harder and harder. My name is Tom Packard. I have a real joy. One of my great hobbies is reading. And a couple of months ago in our library here on the library cart, I found an author named Paul Doiron, D-O-I-R-O-N. And his main character is a game warden in the state of Maine. And I read it and said, wow. And I went back to get another one. I couldn't find him. So I went to our own library and found another good book. And then on the night of the auction, there was a table out in the foyer there that had 10 more of his novels. So I'm anxious to find the person who has a similar interest in this author, because he is a superb writer, and I don't know whether any of you have ever read his books, but it's a must-read. So please let me know if you know who the person was that left those 10 books.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
I've got another Clyde and Patsy story, because I used to go up quite a few times to the camp out that we have, the Unitarians have. I used to go up in their camper, and of course all the way up there he would be telling jokes and so on and so forth. It was a lot of fun. Also, Patsy was a very good bridge player. So I'm a bridge player, as some of you know, and so Patsy and I have played many bridge games together.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
So I have 2 joys, very short. Haney is here. Yay! My other joy is Happy Pride Month. It is, yay. It is World Pride Weekend, and lots of stuff is going around the world. One thing that made me smile a lot was yesterday was my grandnephew's birthday. And he has a very endearing relationship with my husband, Shane. We are both Theos, but Shane is his, buddy. And so we called yesterday, and I called, and he said, "Where's Theo Shane?" And I was glad that Shane was able to be well enough to be up to talk to him. So it's been a very joyous weekend. I am very prideful and very happy this weekend.
Thank you. I'm going to light this other candle for all those joys and sorrows and milestones which remain in your hearts. And I have these words by Marion Hatcher Cottender. Let us become aware of the wholeness that exists within us, beyond inner divisions and brokenness and pain. May we acknowledge silently the unity of the Spirit that brings us together as one in our community. Let us become aware of that which binds us to all living things. Spirit of life, may we see and hear and smell and taste and touch that reality which supports us and sustains us. May we be comforted and challenged by it. May we glimpse the fundamental unity in life and seek to make it real to others in all that we do and say. Renew us this day to greater devotion, service, and love. So be it.
Return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to where you are, return to where you are, return to where you are, your soul.
One of the things that Julie Woody was going to do for us was a reflection. And so she sent her the copy to me this morning, and I'm reading it. I can't do Julie's voice, I'm sorry, but you can imagine these are the words of Julie Woody. I signed the membership book in April 1980, 45 years ago. Been involved in many aspects of leadership, holding just about every board position. You can accurately say I've been there and done that, including 2 search committees and the one that brought Nancy Anderson to us. I actually began attending several years before I assigned the book, attending sporadically. But in 1980, I had a 2-year-old daughter, and I wanted her to grow up in an environment with people who shared my values and were actively working to make the world a better place. A place I knew would help nurture her and support me as a mother. Let me take you back to some time and set the scene. This is 1980. This is before we had built the RE wing or the art gallery or the foyer. Our front door was the double doors you see behind you. Did you ever wonder why the outside wall is stone? Well, that was the outside wall of the building. The breezeway was in the office. I should say the office was in the breezeway. It was staffed by volunteers. I don't remember any grass, and the parking lot wasn't paved. Things look different than they do today. John Trantham joined us as our minister, along with Gail, Jennifer, and Clarissa. He was the only paid staff person. Gail often played the piano. John was quickly approached by Patsy Tombaugh to try a new pianist, a young 12-year-old named Jeremy Denk. Jeremy was with us until he went to Oberlin and then to Juilliard to study music. He's gone on to become a world-renowned pianist, earning the MacArthur Genius Fellowship and the Avery Fisher Prize. We've always had excellent music here. But we had no hymnals. But since John loved to sing, so he began copying music for Sunday and putting it in 3-ring binders. My first real lesson in leadership, in the power of leadership, came when John Trantham suddenly died in 1993. I was on the board, and I didn't know how we were going to continue. But we didn't stop. We pulled together in our grief and kept going. We didn't miss a Sunday. And when our board chair became ill and Patsy Tombaugh was prevailed upon to step in, as she has served before, she did that. We know about this. You know about the stained glass window for Clyde that's in the gallery. But on the west side of the gallery, out in the little rose garden, there is a sculpture to Patsy with her model, "We shall muddle through." Then the UUA sent us Reverend Marjorie Montgomery for a few months. She knew if we were able to get a new minister, we needed to pay off the mortgage on our property. This building. So she had a miracle Sunday to pay off the mortgage. I didn't think it was possible, but the members of this church opened their hearts and checkbooks, and within a week, the mortgage was met. So my first big lesson was that UUs believe in miracles. And we make them happen. Our big expansion came about 10 years later. In 1999 and 2000, we built the RE wing and the gallery and enclosed the foyer. That was my next big lesson in leadership. We needed more room, and the decision to build was shared by many people. So about 10 members of the congregation came together, I think it was in Elwyn Nunn's living room, and hashed out the particulars. We did not get a bank loan. These individuals personally loaned the church about $300,000 to build what we wanted. They agreed to be slowly paid back or to forgive the loans on their own as a tax deduction. It was a huge commitment. Hal Bowie was a member and a contractor, and he helped spearhead the project. The number of leaders that just emerged at that time from our congregation tackled such a huge endeavor amazed me. They knew what needed to be done and had the expertise to accomplish it. And I'm having trouble turning the page. Hale Huber spearheaded the committee to build our beautiful stained glass window to commemorate Clyde Tombaugh. And there's a plaque on the outside, the south side of the gallery. I invite you to read it. It lists all the people who made contributions to that window. And perhaps there's a little remembered fact about this new construction, that there used to be several small houses in front of the church. I don't remember any heating or cooling, and they were primitive by any standards. Anyone remember what they were? Susan Bagby and I thought they should be condemned and taken down. We suggested the auction committee take bids, and the highest bidder would get to swing the sledgehammer to begin the destruction. That idea didn't catch on, but those bathrooms, so-called, were replaced, and the new ones are in approximately the same place, except they're in the building, and they are heated and cooled. Perhaps this is a piece of history best forgotten. Our building expansion was perhaps my second big lesson in leadership. With many hands working together, we can do great things. The last lesson I'll talk about today came about in the early 2000s. Joel Brown and Tammy Scher began the first Welcoming Congregation Committee. We currently have a new Welcoming Congregation Committee that is working to help us get certified. In fact, we have been recertified. But I was fortunate enough to be on that committee over 20 years ago. We used the curriculum from the UUA and met for well over a year before we brought it to the congregation for a vote. We spent hours learning, educating ourselves and the members, listening to concerns, aware that we were not all in agreement. But after many months and much work, the vote was unanimous. It was a lesson in leadership and democracy. That was my third lesson. We move forward together, listening to others, and with respect, taking time to hear all voices. It's often said that leadership in a UU church is like herding cats. It takes a lot of patience, listening to one another, working together, and then miracles can happen.
Thank you, Charlie. And thank you, Julie, if you're watching. I'd like to share this reading with you entitled Rainbows. It is not a reference to Pride Month, however. Rainbows are not enough. They're only shattered light, played ephemerally across a temporary sky. Rainbows, however beautiful, are erased by the turning of a head. You have not faded with the sun. You have lingered, touched our lives and hearts, changed us with your love, etched the very cornerstone of our temple with new purpose. Rainbows are not enough. This is not a service about rainbows. It's a service about you, about all of you and all of us. It's about all of us as leaders, as followers, as people who care about one another, and this incredible Unitarian Universalist faith that we share. It's about respect and trust, getting things done, and visioning what could be. It's about celebrating how others have made their mark on us and on this church. Today we recognize and celebrate those who have been among us the longest. There are 22 people who have been members for more than 25 years continuously. Among them are 5 people who have been members for more than 50 years. Today, we also recognize and celebrate that 2025 is the 70th anniversary year of this congregation's existence. As you've already heard, on May 13, 1955, 14 people signed the charter to become the Unitarian Fellowship of Las Cruces, a member congregation of the American Unitarian Association. This fellowship was part of a nationwide Unitarian movement to organize lay-led congregations in areas unlikely to be able to support a traditional church or professional ministry. Historian Conrad Wright wrote that the purpose of this movement for fledgling congregations was to facilitate their birth, allow them to find their own identity, develop their own style, and produce their own leadership. This history and the presence of longtime members reminds us that this congregation has been many congregations over its 70 years. Those early leaders would recognize but few people in this room today. But we would not be who we are without them. For whether we are aware or not, they have touched our lives and the life of this congregation in significant ways. As important as these people are and have been to us, they know and we know that they did not accomplish much of anything on their own. Those who pay attention to such things will always say that followers are what makes the leader. It is always we, not I, who have accomplished great things. One of our founding members and 6-time board president, Patsy Tombaugh, was noted for her philosophical encouragement, "We'll muddle through." Well, I'm pretty sure that Patsy was a far more effective leader than she would care to admit. What she called muddling was really trusting the process and seeing a viable future. She helped the congregation get through some very difficult situations with both vision and perception. An effective leader has a vision of what could be. And the effective leader also has an accurate perception of what is possible. Every congregation has its leaders, the ones with the foresight to see the future and keep us on track. And every congregation has its managers, the ones with the organization skill to see that things run smoothly. And all congregations have producers, the ones who do the work of committees and get things done. We all work together, and we all need each other. This is what we've been doing for 70 years. But sometimes we get a little too attached to having things go well. Here's a little vignette by Stephen Covey, the leadership guru of the late 20th century. Envision a group of producers cutting their way through the jungle with machetes. They're the producers, the problem solvers. They're cutting through the undergrowth and clearing it out. The managers are behind them, sharpening their machetes, writing policy and procedure manuals, holding muscle development programs, bringing in improved technologies, and setting up working schedules and compensation programs for the machete wielders. The leader is the one who climbs the tallest tree, surveys the entire situation, and yells, "Wrong jungle!" But how do the busy, efficient producers and managers often respond? "Shut up, we're making progress." What does this story mean for a congregation such as ours? It means that we need to allow our leaders to help us find the right jungle. Without leadership, all of our very competent and efficient activities may be nothing more than milling around. Leadership asks us to be faithful to our values and our purpose. It asks us to be responsive to a viable future. Are leaders born and not made? Or is leadership an entirely learned skill? The answer probably lies somewhere between the poles of nature and nurture. As for myself, my childhood was filled with tree climbing escapades. Did that portend a life of leadership? I don't know about that. But I do know that my leadership skills were developed in the nurture of religious community. With the support of the Unitarian Universalist Society of Blackhawk County, Iowa, I was given opportunities to learn and practice in ever-growing arenas of responsibility and complexity. Without that community, I might never have risked moving into leadership. I believe that we can all lead in some area, at various times with certain people, as long as we are supported and our competencies recognized. In any group of people, the leadership shifts and changes as different situations arise, and yet we call out of our midst the people we believe will help us get where we want to go and become the people we want to be. We call out these people to lead, not because we think they have all the answers, but because we believe that they can be trusted to bring us together, to discern a responsible future, a future that is faithful to our values and our sense of who we are and what we are about. Good, effective leadership is always relational and never authoritarian. An individual can lead effectively only when the group gives that individual the authority to lead. Now, we Unitarian Universalists seem to have an aversion toward authority. We could have written that 1960s call to question authority. It's part of who we are. We do not like to be told what to do or how to do it. And indeed, we should be suspicious of the kind of authoritarianism and tyranny that would bend us to someone else's will. And yet, as people who believe in the authority of the individual conscience in matters of religion, Unitarian Universalists sometimes teeter on the brink of anarchy in their fear of being coerced. Our equally compelling commitment to community calls us into relationship that helps us see that there is a difference between authoritarianism and legitimate authority. Jackson Carroll of Hartford Seminary defines legitimate authority this way: to exercise authority involves influencing, directing, coordinating, or otherwise guiding the thought and behavior of persons and groups in ways that they consider legitimate. In other words, the leader earns the right to lead by demonstrating trustworthiness and competence. You decide who the leaders are. This does not mean that we should never question the person to whom we've given authority, but it does mean that we need to be willing to work together with that person. We need to let them lead and do our part in getting to where we are headed together. We need to be willing to move to another jungle in order to reach a responsible future. In our life together, we value everyone and every kind of skill, for they are all needed. But as a leader, I think we would all benefit from a sense of mystery, a sense that we are creating something new together, something we cannot describe until it happens. We benefit as an organization and as individuals on a search for meaning and purpose when we give up trying to control and become open to surprise. As Margaret Wheatley writes in Leadership and the New Science, I concentrate much more on processes now, focusing on qualities rather than quantities, paying more attention to things like pattern, direction, feel, and the internal rhythm of what's happening. I spend time, she continues, to create the organizational conditions for people to set a clear intent, to agree on how they are going to work together, and then practice to become better observers, learners, and colleagues as they co-create with their environment. How profound. Leaders, take us where we have not been before. Leaders are sensitive to our fears and doubts, and they are appreciative of our abilities and talents. Leaders trust the processes of being together in community with respect and care, with give and take, with order and chaos, with knowing and unknowing. Leadership, above all, is an act of faith, that wonderful alchemy of trust, belief, and action. Each one of the leaders who have gone before us has led a vision of what could be. None of them knew exactly what it would take to get there. All of those present at the time had a role in seeing the vision to fruition, and they created new realities as they went along. Together, they called ministers, bought or built new facilities, grew their programs, reached out to the community and service, all in faithfulness to the promise of Unitarian Universalism and to the realities in which they found themselves. This is the way of life, and it is our call to be faithful to those realities and those mysteries in which we have our being, moving and growing in rhythm with the forces of nature and community. We close this portion of the service with these words by Emil Gudmundsson. May we have faith in life to do wise planting, that the generations to come may reap even more abundantly than we. May we be bold in bringing to fruition the golden dreams of human kinship and justice. This we ask, that the fields of promise become fields of reality. So be it, and amen.
One of the things we wanted to do was to recognize long-standing members of our church. And so we made a list of people who have been here 25 years or more. And I'm going to read those names, and at the end, if you are one of those people, I would like you to stand up and we will honor you. Sandra Barmacue, 25 years. Galena Saltel, 27 years. Beverly Manning, 28 years. Elvira Mason, 30 years. Tara Gray, 32 years. Jennifer Trantham, 33 years. Jack Welch, 35 years. Clayton Flowers, 39 years. Jim Bassler, 42 years. The Carlsons, Nancy and David, thank you, David. 43 years. Gail Trantham, 44 years. Charlie Welch, 44 years. Julie Whitty, 45 years. VJ, 47 years. Susan Bagby, Dick Bagby, 47 years. Hale Huber, 49 years. Elwin Nunn, 51 years. Ingrid and Benjamin Lucchini, 56 years, and James W. Bassler, 60 years. Thank you, leaders. The operation and outreach of our church needs your input and your contributions, and this is a perfect time to think about what you can give back. In a moment, the greeters will pass among you with the offering baskets. Please give generously, but before we do that, I should remind you that we support organizations identified by the Social Justice Committee with our Change for Change program. And the offering today is for the Mesilla Valley Community of Hope, The mission of that organization is to promote dignity and empowerment among homeless populations by providing shelter services, case management, income support, and permanent housing programs in Las Cruces and Doñana County. You can give to them by putting your change in the basket or by writing change for change on the check line, on the note line of your check. Please give generously. And our offertory music is lyrics by a former member, Joan Small. I think you'll recognize the tune.
Steady, and soon we were ready to move to a place of
We hope you enjoyed that. I learned a lot learning the song. So, would you rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn? It's number 1020, Wo Ya Ya.
Thank you. Thank you so much for singing along. Let us go now in faith and trust and love, having faith in our own strength to lead, trust in the leadership of others, and love for one another and all that holds us together in community. Blessed be.
Please join me in saying the words to extinguish the flame. The words are on the screen.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Is Rev Rod here? Is he here? Oh, okay. Rev Rod, will you come forward? Reverend Nancy, would you come forward too, please? Come back. So I'm the music director. I get to do what I want. I didn't say you had to do it. I get to do what I would like. I am glad that we have celebrated leadership today, and I'm glad that I have seen and just felt, it's been 2 months since I've been here, and just felt what that means, what that has built up, the sense of community, love, pride, all of those things here. So for the postlude today, I'm going to sing a cappella. I don't mean to be Bette Midler, but I think this song is good for us to remember to thank our leaders that are here, that are sitting right in front of us. We've remembered the past, but I think we should also hold on to the leaders that we have today. So Rev Rod and Rev Nancy, thank you. It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine, that's your way. You always walked a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I wished I could be. I can fly higher than an eagle, for you are the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. Of course I know it. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I wish I could be. I can fly higher than an eagle, for you are the wind beneath my wings. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I wish I could be. I can fly higher than an eagle, for you are the wind beneath my wings. 'Cause you are the wind beneath my wings. Thank you, everyone.